Hi class, I know some of you had questions on the solubility curve, so I told some of you I'd make a quick video here. So some of the key vocabulary words that we need to know for this, for solubility curves, is going to be saturated, unsaturated, and supersaturated. So those are the words that we want to be most familiar with. So if it's saturated, the solution contains the max amount of solute that can dissolve in a solvent at a given temperature. So that's the one that's going to be right on the line. So when you find the point on the line for that particular solute. When it's unsaturated, it's going to be below the curve, and that's a solution that contains less than the maximum amount of solute. And our last one is supersaturated. That's when you have too much in it. So it contains more solute than would normally dissolve at that specific given temperature. So remember, as temperature changes, the amount of solute that will dissolve changes. And think about how much sugar you put in an iced coffee versus how much sugar will dissolve in a hot coffee. So those are the vocabulary. And you have to come back to on the line, saturated, below the line, unsaturated. I like to think of as under is unsaturated, and super, it flies high like Superman, is above the line. So supersaturated, unsaturated, and saturated. So now we're going to look at the problems from the review sheet or practice quiz. So here's our review sheet. I'm starting with problem number 29. So here are our solubility curves. Each line represents a different solute, and the formula for that solute is given here. So this is the number of grams of water. So as you add more water, in most cases, more solute will dissolve, and as you raise the temperature, more solute. So that's why the graph goes up and to the right for most solutes. So the first one is for KNO3. And if you look at KNO3, you want to find it on the graph. So here we have KNO3. We want to find the KNO3 on the graph. So here's our KNO3 right here. Just want to make sure I didn't cover what I needed. All right, so it's at 70 degrees. So we want to go to 70 degrees. So here's 70 at the bottom. And I want to go up to see where on the graph does the KNO3 hit at 70 degrees. And it looks like it's right here. So I'm going to make a big blue dot. So that means that's at 130. So you will be able to get, at 70 degrees Celsius, 130 grams to dissolve. So the answer would be 130 grams of KNO3. I'm not the best at this. So KNO3. All right, so then the next one is for NaCl. So again, I want to find NaCl on the graph. So I'm going to change colors. So I have NaCl. And my NaCl on the graph is located here. So in this case here, we want an NaCl at 100 degrees. So here's my 100 degrees. I'm going to go up until I hit the NaCl mark, whoops, which is right here. So that looks like it's at 40 grams. So 40 grams of NaCl. And then our last one we have is NH4Cl. So I'm going to find NH4Cl on my graph. It says it's at 90, so I'm going to go to 90. I'm going to go up where it hits on my curve here, right about here, and that looks about at 70 grams. So that's 70 grams of NH4Cl. So this is for what they want to know how much solute can dissolve at a set temperature. So you find the substance and then you look at the temperature, and that's how you find it. And it makes it a good idea to maybe use highlighters or to use some other different colors for it. So let's move on to the next section. I'm going to clear off our graph here. And here we go with the next part. So this one indicates whether it's saturated, unsaturated, or supersaturated. So that goes back to our vocabulary words that we just had on the previous page. So we have 70 grams at 30 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to go to that first. So I'm going to find my 70 grams. Here's my 70 grams, and I'm going to go over to 30 degrees Celsius. So that's 10, 20, 30. So I'm going to go right here. Okay, and the substance we're talking about is NaNO3. So here's my NO3. This is my line for NaNO3. So if you look at the dot's below the line. So it's under the line, so it's unsaturated. I'm just going to write unsat. And now we go to the next one. So here we go with our next. Next one we have 50 grams at 50 degrees. So I'm going to find 50 grams. And I'm going to go over to 50. And I'm going to put my dot right there. And they wanted about NH4Cl. So this is my curve for NH4Cl. And it looks like it's right on the line. So if it's right on the line, it's called saturated. So I'm just going to write sat. And then the last one, it's 70 grams. I don't know why that random 4 must be from the numbers. 70 grams at 100. And 0, sorry, 0. So 70 and 0. So here's my 70 grams again, and 0. So 70 grams and 0 is going to be right there. And this is for Ki, and Ki is up here. So that looks like it's under the line, so it's going to be unsaturated. Remember, if it's below, like under the C, or under the curve, it's unsaturated. So if you have any questions, hopefully this video helped you. And good luck studying for your test that you have tomorrow.